So I'm at my friend's house, and he had a few black walnut trees come down in a recent storm, and he asked me if I wanted them, and I offered him some money. So I'm gonna get them loaded up here, or he is, and then I'm gonna get them back to my house, and I'll talk about what I paid for them and how much I think they're actually worth all cut up. And I'll even probably cut one or two of these up in a video and see what they look like on the inside. Can you get a grapple for that? So he's got a few more. The trees he just loaded were actually the tops out of this one and then that one, right? Was it from both these?
Yep.
So he's still got the rest of the trees here, which are a lot bigger. Those were just the tops, so obviously smaller diameter. But he's gonna leave these here for the free dry storage until probably I'm ready for them. And then I'll come get these. As you can see, my friend likes his firewood, so that's why I got to get these walnut trees out before he turns them into firewood. Nice stacks though. So here are the logs I got. They're not that big. This one's probably the biggest. And then on the other side there, it's like maybe 18 inches on this end, and then it kind of flares out. That one's probably 18 or 20 also. And then these two longer ones are like 10 and 8 inches, and the small end they're like 12 foot long, and they're kind of squirrely. I don't know if I'm gonna get many good slabs out of those. I'll have to cut them at least in half for sure. So I'm gonna be cutting probably all these into live edge slabs. I sell live edge slabs on the side. I'm not a big production or anything like that, so I don't do a whole lot of dimensional lumber, but I do some live edge stuff. So for these 5 logs, I paid $400 for. I didn't really know what to offer him. I don't often buy logs, to be honest. A lot of them I get for free or off my property. But walnut, black walnut, super valuable. Everybody seems to want it, the live edge stuff and dimensional. So I was pretty sure I can make some money on it. So I offered him $400, not really knowing, and then I did some research and trying to figure out what people are actually getting for per board foot for walnut. It's very, very questionable. There's a lot of different answers I came up with. But I see all the time on like Facebook Marketplace and advertised online, a lot of people want an arm and a leg for their black walnut tree, or even just limbs and random pieces, and they don't understand how much money it would cost, especially like a standing tree. People don't realize how much it costs to just get the tree down, the tree work cost. So they think, a lot of times they'll think the tree is worth somebody paying them for the tree and to take it down, and most of the time that's not the case. For bigger companies and even smaller companies, it's not going to be worth all their time and bunch of resources to get their equipment and everything on someone's property to get just a tree or two. They're not going to be interested in it unless it's like a monster tree, that's really valuable. They're just probably not going to be interested in it. Especially if it's just a tree work company. Most tree companies aren't really interested in the lumber. They're in the business of taking down trees and doing tree cleanup work. Most of them don't care about the lumber. So there are some companies that do come in and care about the lumber, but most of those companies, they want to come in and lumber like 5, 10, 50 acres. They don't want to come in for a few trees in your backyard. So a lot of the posts I see people asking or wanting to sell their black walnut tree or other species of trees, they're just never going to sell them. Now with this scenario, it was a friend of mine. He had already had these trees cut up. It was real close, local, and he was able to load them for me. So that was a little bit different scenario. But if I had to go in and bring some equipment and take the tree down, and I probably wouldn't even bother with these 5 logs. But anyways, I did some calculations on the board footage of these 5 logs, and it came out to 182 board foot with the Doyle scale. Now, I'm not a timber buyer or lumber professional by any means. I don't really know about the qualities and grades of lumber. But I did some research and found some Ohio timber reports for this past year. And that's where I'm at, is in Ohio. And it gave me a bunch of numbers and prices that companies were paying for different types and qualities of lumber. And for walnut, on the chart, it said for the very best case scenario, for the best grade and quality of lumber, companies were paying $3,000 per 1,000 board foot. So if that's the case in the best case scenario, which this is not, and that's probably most likely for like dimensional lumber, I'm going to be cutting live edge slabs, and this stuff probably wouldn't be great for dimensional lumber. But so in that best case scenario, these 5 logs would bring like $550 at $3 a board foot. So like I said, I paid $400 for these 5 logs. If any of you guys know more than me or have more experience, let me know what you think these logs are worth. And then I'm gonna cut one of these on my sawmill, and after I cut one of these into slabs, I'm gonna let you guys know what I think I can get for the slabs after they've been processed. So they're cool looking. I got 4 decent sized slabs, and I think if I flip that one over I can get one more about 1.5 inches thick. These are all, I cut them all about 2.5 inches, 2 3/4. Some super dark spots. So most of them have this crack, this rotten split in the middle because of the crotch up here. So it's definitely going to take a certain buyer to want to have to deal with that crack. So what are these slabs worth? That's kind of what this video is about. So I just did the math on these. These two are pretty similar. Right now, like this one is about 20 board foot. So after it's dried and planed on both sides or flattened, I'm gonna lose quite a bit of material depending on how much it warps. It could go down to 15 board foot by the time I lose all that material. So around here, black walnut seems to be going for around $10 a board foot, kiln dried, flattened, planed, ready to do something with. So with that being said, say this ends up being 15 board foot, I could potentially get $150 for this piece. But I'll let you guys do the math. Kiln drying around me is around $1 a board foot. Flattening can get pretty pricey, and the time, it's gonna take some time before I can even sell these. It'll be 6 months to a year before they're ready, and then they could sit around for a few years before someone wants to buy them. So that's gonna do it for this video. I'm gonna cut through the rest of those. Those should turn out pretty nice too. Thanks for watching.